Okay.
Football Dad's Army, a bit unusual to have a show during the early afternoon, but we're not busy today, and Anthony's off of work, so he got a little message, and he wants to have a little chat about the Arsenal transfer rumours. Listen, there's been loads of rumours all summer, and it's for me. I believe a lot of it's media talk, but anyway, we're going to get into the rumours. First of all, we wanted to start with this what we've heard on Mikel Mourinho. Now everything is apparently agreed price wise, and now we're getting news that the reason why it's taking so long now is because of the payment structures and the performance related add-ons. This is what's coming out of Sky Sports this morning. So I mean, I think it's just taking ridiculously long time, Anthony. There's still like the Calafiore deal was a little bit more understandable why it took so long because they had an agreement with Basel, didn't they, over the sell-on clause, the 50%, and they had to negotiate over. Excuse me, to negotiate over that as well. And so that was sort of like a third party involved, but there's no third party involved in this deal, and it's dragging its heels a little bit, and it is becoming a little bit concerning. I know it's probably going to happen. I believe it's probably going to happen, but it's holding us up for getting for other deals. So, what do you think of that, Anthony? What do you
Yeah,
think?
you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. It is holding us up. I think this is a deal that could have crossed the line ages ago, to be honest with you. I mean, obviously it was all there. I think it was the bonuses, his wages, everything else was agreed within this Rio deal. But we just couldn't quite get it over the line because it's like what you said. We were trying to agree over the fee. So now the fee has been raised. It started off, I think it was around about 17 million.
Yeah,
Then it went up to 20 million. Now there's reports saying, I'm just looking it up here now, it's saying it's 25 million plus add-ons.
yeah,
So it's 25 million up front, 5 million for add-ons. So it's a combined 30 million in total. So, I mean, you can understand that, obviously, with a Spanish midfielder. I mean, he was in the team in the Euros. They won they won the Euros. So obviously, when teams like that in the Euros, whatever player is in that national team, the value is going to go up. It's going to get higher. So, you've got to expect that in one way. The other thing now is what's brought to my attention with this guy here, where he plays at Real Sociedad. Apparently, he's the third choice midfielder in his position. He's not because Zubamendi, and then I think there's another guy there, and then he's a third one. So this is what I've been reading. So I mean, you're looking at the price. Okay, the price is most probably is reasonable because obviously he's won the Euros and that with Spain. But I mean, for it to take so long is unreal for me. There's room. Well, there's speculation that Arsenal need to sell players before they buy.
yeah,
I don't know if that's the case, Lee. I mean, you look at it last season. We finished second. We got quarterfinals of the Champions League. We had most of our games last season. We were one of the top teams, which one of our teams was televised. Basically, Arsenal was televised the most times of last season. So we got TV rights in there as well. So once you throw all that in on top, I tell you what, it won't surprise me if Arsenal got most probably around about 200 million last season. Do you know what I mean?
mhm,
So, and then we just seem to be stingy on this transfer window. I mean, Calafiori coming in, and obviously that was it was what was it? It was 33 million plus a 4 million pound add-on, which obviously brought up to around about 37 million for Calafiori. It's a shame really that he didn't start against obviously, on the weekend. I'm not gonna discuss about that because we obviously got tonight's show to talk about that.
mhm.
But I mean, yeah, this one it's taken too long. It's really taken too long. Eddie was saying, "Listen, we're going to have a good transfer window. Arsenal fans, get ready to be excited." Okay, we're still waiting now. We've got what is it? Just under 2 weeks until the window ends.
Yeah.
So about a week and a half, I think, something like that. Because it's the
It's
20th today.
10 days.
Look, yeah, bang on 10 days. Bang
Yeah,
on 10 days. So
10
I
days
mean,
today.
we got to sign someone and someone quick. If we want
Yeah.
to compete with Man City,
Well,
because looking
Josh
at them,
Kroenke said that 4 years ago. Josh Kroenke said
yeah,
he excited 4 years ago. Said
yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
early doors football TV. Tony, good to see you finally sorted out your Wi-Fi, Anthony. Yeah, he mentioned that on backstage earlier that he couldn't come on your show last night because of his Wi-Fi, but it's sorted today. Or was it? Sunday night was it?
Yeah, Sunday night I couldn't get on there because my Wi-Fi was playing up, so it was sorted yesterday. So so that's why I'm on here now. Got the day off of work, and then we got the show tonight as well. So everybody stay tuned into that. That'll be a good one, wouldn't it? So we'll be talking about some football, Arsenal, West Ham content, and obviously a little bit of the fantasy football league that we're doing.
Yeah,
So that'd be fun. That'd definitely be fun.
yeah. Tony's going to be early doors football TV. Be joining us as well, 7:30 p.m. tonight. So don't forget to tune into that. Now, Tony is saying Lee bought another hamster to turn the generator over. So, yeah, yeah. So, did you put 50p in the meter though?
I did. I did put 50p in the meter. I remember there was old fashioned meter. You put the 50p in and you turn the slot, wasn't it?
Yeah,
And
you
then you
turn it
put
around.
the
Yeah,
electric
yeah.
on.
I remember
I can
them.
remember that years ago. Yeah, yeah. And the
Growing up
bloody
back in the
military
day.
as well.
Nah, no, you're a type. So, oh, excuse me. No, you're a type. So and so. He's saying there. Tony be joining us tonight. Can't wait for that show. And guess who's top of the fantasy league? Have you had a look?
Oh, I don't know. I think there's some asshole that's top. Yeah, 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 yeah,
I
yeah,
don't know how that's happened, but
yeah.
apparently I had a shit team, didn't I?
Well,
You
you
said
changed your team about 20 times before it kicked off.
I've changed it
Like,
about 1,000 times, Anthony.
yeah,
Lee has 50p with a hole in it and a string attached so he can put it back out. Well, guess what?
yeah.
Back in the day, Tone, while you're in the chat, um, there was one. I remember this vividly. When the electric man came round to empty the 50p's out the meter, he left it unlocked one time, and my mum, like my old mum, she put the 50p in and then got the drawer out, put it back in, got the drawer out, put it back
Recycled it,
in.
sort of thing. Yeah,
Yeah. God
three,
bless her.
three, 3 months supply.
Yeah, yeah. God bless her. I don't know. Obviously, I didn't know if she got in any trouble for that or not because I was too young, but I do remember it. Right, let's move on with the transfer rumours. Where do you want to go next now? So hopefully Mourinho will be done soon. We know that's probably in the bag, but it's getting boring with that one. Now it's gone too long. But it was rumours this morning. I've got something written down here. You mentioned it to me this morning. Kiwior. Jakob Kiwior, Arsenal defender, left back, centre half. Apparently, he's getting interest from Inter Milan, Juventus, and Palace
Yeah,
for 20 million. So, I
yeah.
mean, I've only just, I haven't seen that one, but I've been looking around. But where's that come from?
Well, that's actually come from an Arsenal website. Obviously, before we come on the show, I was on YouTube. Apparently, some other people they've now announced it as well on their shows, like what we're doing.
Okay.
Yeah, Kiwior. Basically, it went back to when he was playing left back partly through last season because we had a couple of injuries, so we had to cover that certain left
Yeah.
back position. He did a good job, by the way. There, really good job.
Decent, yeah.
Uh, yeah, quite decent. The team is coming for him. I think he's actually made it known to Mikel Arteta now. He knows that he's not going to get in the team. He's not going to be. He's not the first choice defender we need. Regarding this, there is rumours that he's actually most probably would add in a transfer request to leave. which is understandable. You know, of a player like that, if you he just wants to play first team football, if you can't get that first team football at Arsenal Football Club, he's obviously going to want to leave. Like you said, there is Inter Milan, Juventus, and also Crystal Palace that are interested in. It'd
Yeah,
be actually nice to actually see him in the Premier League. I know players like that, they go back abroad, you know, that sort of stuff, you know, and they play for obviously better teams because at the end of the day, he wants to get first team football and most probably a couple of trophies. In all fairness, he's not going to do that at Crystal Palace. But you look at it, could this be another speculation that Gay could be leaving Crystal Palace
this is I
and
thought
they want,
that to Newcastle.
yeah, there's
They're
talks
putting
of
a bid
him
for
going to
him, mate.
Newcastle, yeah. So there could be a question of that, with Kivior going to Crystal Palace to replace him.
Yeah,
The region of the money I've been told is around about £20 million. So obviously that's what we paid for him. So we haven't lost anything. We ain't gained anything. Basically, we just got our money back.
yeah,
So you know, which in all fairness, I think is reasonable for the amount of game time that he had last season. Wasn't really quite a lot, but you know, he's kept his value. He hasn't dipped in value, so that's the main thing.
yeah,
And but yeah, I think if that deal goes through with Palace with Gay, it could be he could be there and the next signing for Crystal
yeah,
Palace at centre back, and it'd be nice to keep tabs on him to see how well he actually plays in the
yeah.
Premier League if he does go to Crystal Palace. Because a lot of these, like you know, people like myself, like most probably like you, Lee, we don't really keep up with the teams that plays abroad in the different countries like
Ah,
Syria, La
yeah,
Liga, and all, you know, in the Bundesliga and all that. So you know, we don't really much keep up with that. We're just mostly interested within the Premier League itself. So that's that. Um, but yeah, I feel he'd be a decent player. If he does go, you know, you know, we all wish him luck. You know, all the best for his future. But look, it's what the player wants, and to get first team football, you can't blame him for that, Lee.
no,
If he
not at
wants to
all,
go,
not at all.
he's got to
Yeah, I'd
go.
wish you well as well. Don't forget as well, Fabian Schär got sent off for Newcastle over the weekend, so he's going to be
Yeah.
suspended for 3 games. So that's going to make. Don't you think? You know, Newcastle might be thinking, you know, we've got to, you know, we need to. They've got injuries to other defenders as well, so they're going to need a defender. I
Yeah.
know it's only 3 games, but still, were they going to put a youth player in, or are they going to step up their interest in Gay? You know, they might step up
Probably
their
have
interest.
to.
They might
So
go
I think Botman, he's still out injured, isn't he? You know, he's
Tottenham,
got that lengthy injury. Their star centre back for me. So
yeah,
obviously they got to wait for him to come back. They have got another centre back there,
Dan Burn.
but they're quite weak at the back, though, aren't they?
They've got
Newcastle.
Brian and
I feel,
Livramento, haven't they? I think Livramento's the other centre half, and Dan
yeah,
Burn. But
yeah, they got Danburn, but it's still sort of like is a weak because you look at that, that was their centre back. So that's in all fairness, that Shaw and Botman was the key to that spine. Now one's out injured for a length of time, the other one is banned for 3 games because he got sent off. That's a massive chunk, a piece taken out of that spine of that team.
mhm,
And
absolutely,
what's a blow for Newcastle is in the same position. It's your two-star centre backs. That's like us without Gabriel and Saliba. You know
yeah,
what I mean? So you know it's going to be tough for them. I think with Newcastle, I think they're going to have to settle on, you know, obviously from now to the end of the transfer window. Sorry, is concentrate on these probably getting at least one, maybe two defenders in, just to give them that bit of boost and also that depth that they need in the squad,
yeah,
especially in that defence. Because Isaac has been, I think he's not going. He's going to be, you know, he's going to be staying at Newcastle. So obviously that's good news for there. Ramirez, there's talks of him. Man City obviously still interested. They're sniffing around him, but that's taking its time. You know, that's taking a while there. So you know, if they can keep those players and sort of build teams around them, Newcastle, you know, I think they'll be a good team in the upcoming future. So
okay.
yeah, big up to them.
They was also interested in their next player we're going to talk about, Arsenal, Aaron Ramsdale. They was one of the first teams to be interested in signing Aaron Ramsdale, but it looks like now Wolves are interested.
Yes.
They want a loan with an option to buy, but we either want to sell him outright or loan him with an obligation to buy, which is the difference is obviously instead of deciding whether they want to buy him at the end of the season and having to buy him at the end of the season.
Yeah.
So I know Arsenal were digging their heels in to sell Ramsdale. They want him off the books. But I mean, I'm hearing from Sky Sports they might be open to an obligation to buy following a loan. They
Yeah.
definitely don't want an option to buy. So, I mean, that means we're going to have to go and buy another keeper. Cole Hines gone out on loan. I have seen, I can't remember the name of the goalkeeper now. It's not a goalkeeper that I've heard a lot about. Otherwise, I probably would remember his name. But we are apparently looking at another keeper just in case Aaron Ramsdale does decide to leave. I mean, do you think he should stay and fight for his place, or do you think he should leave? But he's too good, really, to be a bench player. He's too good. But then again, at Wolves, their keeper Jose Sarr, he's their number one. And is he going to battle Jose Sarr for the number one, or is he going to overtake him? Or I mean, I think he's better than Jose Sarr. I think he's a better goalkeeper. I mean, he's just as good at shot stopping. He's a better distributor of the ball, playing out from the back. You know that sort of style of play. I mean, I'm not sure what Wolves are going to do this season, but with their style of play, I mean, Jose Sarr's been the number one there for a while, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's been there for a while. Number one, good goalkeeper. You can't take any away from him. He's big present. Between the sticks, bit like Aaron Ramsdale. I mean, Ramsdale's either going to stay and fight his place, which, in all fairness, he can keep fighting and fighting and fighting. But with Mikel Arteta, he's just going to pick rare every time. So with Ramsdale staying at Arsenal, it's like trying to fight a winning battle you can't win in one way. Let's just say that. I think this, yeah, I think this Ling move is going to do good. I think he will get in front of Saab. That I'm glad he's a Ling in one way, Lee. I like Ramsdale.
I like it.
If anybody was to ask me, I actually prefer Ramsdale to Brea.
I like Ramsdale's. I like his attitude, his personality. I like the way he used to banter the fans behind the goal, stick his tongue out at them. When he made a good save, he'd turn around. And I know it might be a bit cocky to some respects, but don't forget, you don't know what they're saying to him.
No.
The opposing fan, they're giving him bollocks behind that goal. And when he's pulled up, I'll see it. There's a picture of it somewhere. I think I might even have it on my phone. Not the save, but actually when he turned around and poked his tongue out. I can't remember what team it was. But I thought that was fantastic banter. At least he can banter the fan. He's not letting his head go down. It didn't do himself any favours, though, when he said about sometimes he finds it hard to keep his concentration throughout the whole 90 minutes. I mean, he shouldn't have said that because, he kept that one to himself. I know it probably is hard because you're saying, especially when we've got the ball most of the time, he's not really doing much. He's still got to and admitted that it was difficult. So that might have been a bit of a bad move saying that, really.
Yeah. I mean, you look at it as well. I mean, there was other teams linked to him as well. To be honest with you, Lee, I mean, Southampton was one of them. Obviously that finished last week. That didn't happen. The deal there. Bournemouth was another one of those that wanted him. So there's speculations there. There was. Even the rumor was, and which I did hear, even Ajax was interested in him. So there's been a few teams that wants him, sort of thing. The other option is if he goes, you just touch on you hit the nail on the head by saying we need another goalkeeper. And we've been linked to this goalkeeper which is called Garcia from Espanol.
Yeah,
So that's the one who we're interested in. But for us to get him, it all depends on this Ramsdale situation, on this transfer, whether he goes and wants to join Wolves on loan. So as soon as Ramsdale goes, apparently he'd be the next one to step in. There's also another goalkeeper that's interested, which is Bentley. Now he plays for Wolves,
yeah.
and he's the number two goalkeeper. Bentley, I don't want him. In all fairness, I'm not really keen on the guy, both on and off the pitch. As you know, my local team at Bristol City, he played for Bristol City there. Uh, he was basically he was a horrible person, nasty piece of work, wasn't interested. He gave the bad vibe around the dressing room, and as soon as when Wolves come in and made a bid in for him, I mean it was a really cheap bid that we set. I think it was something like 150 grand or 200K or something like that. Do you know what I mean? So just to get him out of there, he's a person. Let's be honest. He's a person that's not afraid to express his feelings and what he's how he feels about the team, the players, and the way how the team's going forward. So, but I personally wouldn't want him. I would love Ramsdale to stay. Like I said, I prefer Ramsdale to Rhea.
Of course. Why would you want to downgrade?
Eh?
Why would you want to downgrade on your players? I know it's a bit difficult for a
Yeah,
player like Ramsdale to be sitting on the bench, but just be ready to step in. Just be ready
yeah,
to. You get your chance. Just be ready and take your chance. I mean, it happens to the best players in the world. Some they don't start as the number one choice, And he's
no,
young enough. He's good enough. He's young enough. You know, if what look at Lukic and Seaman back
yeah,
in the Seaman waited and waited and waited. He got his chance, you know, and the rest is history. But
yeah.
I believe he's just. I want him to stay, but I do like him. I mean, if he's not happy and he wants to play and he's not getting in the team, who knows what's going to happen at the end of this season? I'll tell you, might even get.
Exactly.
You might get another
Yeah,
manager come in and say, "I fancy you." To round
yeah.
up, patience is a virtue. Patience is a virtue, and yeah, we'll see how well he does. If he wins the league, then we're not going to want him out the door, are we?
No.
We'll see how he goes. I mean, I'm very disappointed at what's happened this window, but I've said it before. I don't want to bore people, but
Yeah.
and it's hard. It has got my back up a bit about him, and it has made me think. You know what?
Yeah, it has with me. But yeah, I mean, going back on this Ramsdale, when I compare him to Raya, don't get me wrong, Raya's a good goalkeeper, but what makes a good goalkeeper is having that solid defence, that unit in front of you. And
He
Raya
saves
had that
defence. In
last
all fairness, we're going to talk about that
exactly.
later on
And then
Saturday. Some sloppy
yeah,
passes.
and then what happened? I mean, last season he won the Golden Glove award, Raya, obviously because we had the best defence in the Premier League last season because of our defensive record. You
Yeah,
know, I think if Ramsdale was our first team goalkeeper, I think he most probably would have won that Golden Glove as well. I think Ramsdale is better with his hands saving than Raya. The only thing that Raya is better in is apparently he's quicker on his feet with movement, than what Ramsdale is. So obviously they've both got good abilities in goal. Be honest with you, I can't really separate them because even though Raya is the first team goalkeeper for Arsenal at the minute, they're both number two for their country. So it is, there's that as well. So I feel I would like us to keep Ramsdale and seriously fight it out. Obviously, really get in there and give it a go, push. But if that means you've got to give that extra, instead of giving 100%, if Ramsdale can give it to that extent with the 110%, maybe Arteta can most probably see something, play him in a game, and if he plays well, then it could quite even out. They could
yeah.
rotate in games,
Like
sort of
he
thing.
was going
So
to do. Like he said he
yeah,
was going to do when he signed Raya. And the only
yeah,
two times Ramsdale played last season was against Brentford because obviously Raya
yeah,
was on loan, can't play against his parent club. and that was the only two games that
Yeah.
Ramsdale played in.
But he did make it. I am going to say the only thing I don't like with Raya is when he passes out from the back. And obviously, I know we got the show tonight, and I am going to say something about that because there was a stupid mistake in that game on the weekend. So I will have something to say about that on tonight's show.
Okay, Tony from Early Doors Football TV. I get that, Anthony, but we are talking about Arteta. Raya will be between the sticks most of the season.
Yeah,
You're absolutely right, Tony. But I still believe that you have to fight for your place. You have to try. Don't give up. Don't give up, mate.
no,
I know it's frustrating. You're still getting paid.
yeah,
I know it's frustrating. I know you want to play. You want to play internationally and all because he was England's number two in the Euros. Obviously, he didn't get on the pitch in the Euros either. But I mean, Pickford's not getting any younger. You know, maybe he's got to bide his time. Just be a bit patient, man. You're at a top team. You're at one of the best teams in Europe. I mean, I don't want to sound like I'm bragging about because Arsenal ain't won anything in Europe, but we're still one of the best teams in Europe. We're still
yeah.
one of the, still, we're there or thereabouts still. And I mean, Wolves ain't. Wolves ain't. Why would you want to go and play for Wolves? Unless he's being forced out the door, unless they're forcing him to move. If he
Yeah.
says, look, stay and fight for your place, then stay. But if you're being forced out, maybe he's being forced out, Anthony. We don't know what's going on behind closed doors. So
That's right.
that's
Yeah,
it's a possibility and all. One player that I believe is being forced out is Eddie Nketiah. I think he's actually been told he's got to find a club, he's got to leave. But we're being a bit staunch with the transfer fee and making it a bit difficult to get him out of the club.
mm,
I mean, I think
yeah,
they made a mistake in getting rid of following Balogun a few years ago when he said when he had the choice of getting rid of either Eddie Nketiah or following Balogun. I think he made the wrong decision. In all fairness, because I mean, even when Eddie Nketiah was out on loan at Leeds, he couldn't get into Leeds' team unless when they was in the Championship. Come back. I don't think he's ever really been. I know he scored a couple of hat tricks here and there, but a lot of players have scored hat tricks that have been shit, really. I mean, a lot of players have done the same thing, but he hasn't consistently scored for Arsenal. I don't rate him. It's a shame he's
no,
come through the academy. Well, not entirely through Arsenal's academy. We got him off of Chelsea's academy, didn't we? And
that's
then
right.
he come through ours, but he classes as an academy graduate still. It's going to be
Yeah.
100% profit
Well,
sale.
he is a graduate, and whatever we get for him is a bonus. I mean, obviously, early doors he's watching now. Big up to yourself, Tane. I mean, their team. Look at their team. They bid £25 million for Reece Nelson, and we turned that down. It's like why, you know?
Yeah.
So that's another story. There is other talks with him, Reece Nelson. I think this was a rumor, speculate. I think it was last week, maybe. Um, Leicester
Yes,
City
sir.
maybe be interested in him.
Mhm.
But I mean, you look at this one with Eddie Nketiah. I mean, why are we refusing? We're refusing 20 million, 25 million, 27 million. I mean, come on. I mean, you want 50 million from a player. He's not worth 50 million in the first place.
Yeah.
So if somebody comes in and says, well, look, here's 25 million for Eddie Nketiah, plus we'll give you add-ons with 5 million, a combined 30 million in total. Yeah, I mean, but you've got to look at the outlet, the teams that want Eddie Nketiah. In other words, what teams are interested in them? Can he get 13 football? Because this is what Eddie Nketiah wants. He wants to get cement himself in that team quick as possible and start getting on, scoring
First.
goals. Basically,
Yeah.
that's what Eddie Nketiah wants. So, I mean, we've rejected Marseille. We rejected Fulham, we rejected Wolves. I think there's some other team in there as well. We've rejected. So the other one that's come up is Nottingham Forest.
We've
So
rejected
Nottingham
the first
Forest,
offer.
we,
We've
yeah,
rejected
yeah,
the first offer from Nottingham
yeah.
Forest. But I
But
mean,
we've
that's
got to
another
sell
one.
him, get him off the books.
Yeah.
I mean, we desperately need to get him off the books. I mean, it's like what you said, Chris Woods.
Mhm.
The Forest striker. He's not getting any younger. You
Yeah.
know, I can remember Chris Woods when he was playing in the Championship. He wasn't that great. And all right, yeah, my old team, Bristol City, he played for as well. He wasn't that great. Obviously, Burnley. He was sort of average, but he couldn't do it in the Premier League. I
He
thought
got,
that the
he got,
Premier League.
he got, sorry, Anthony. I think he got about 14 or 15 goals last season, Chris Wood.
Chris Woods, yeah, he did,
Yeah.
yeah. But I mean,
Not too
with
bad. Forest.
regarding that, and obviously we know him from Newcastle as well. He
Mm.
wasn't really performing for Newcastle United. So, I mean, don't get me wrong, Forest come in and bought him. He hasn't done a bad job there. But it's like what he said, he's not getting any younger. They need to bring in some talent, somebody with not just goal scoring abilities, even though that's the main thing for strikers, but someone that can, that's got pace. I mean,
Mm.
don't get me wrong, Eddie Nketiah, he has got pace. I'll be honest with you. He has got pace, he's got skill, and he's quick on the ball. I think that's something that Forest wants to actually look at. Just move the goals aside a sec, but that's something that he wants, the Forest manager, and he's really set his eyes on him, and he really wants to bring him into Forest. Whether they can actually agree a deal with him, which I personally think they should, is look, Mikel Arteta and Edu, stop being stupid, do the maths, yeah, set in. Even if it's 25 million down on the table, with even if it's 5 million add-ons with 30 million, come on, use your brains.
You can't even say cut your losses because he's cost nothing. Open cost
Exactly.
his wage, that's it. Just get your profit back. I mean, I think he might fit in well at Forest. We were talking backstage about the other Hudson Odoi and Morgan Gibbs White they've got there.
Yeah,
I think he's played under 21s with Hudson Odoi, wasn't it?
yeah.
Um, I'm not sure about Morgan's Gibbs White if he was
Yeah.
in
Well, I
the
think when you look at it, you see those names, Lee, and those players in the that Forest team, yeah, they sort of gel. They sort of gel. They interlock with one another, don't they? It's sort of like Murillo, starting from the back from Murillo and going forward, like from the midfield and to the attack. It's sort of in that diamond shape. I mean, on the right side and in the middle as well. So if they can get Eddie Nketiah there, there's like a decent chain going on there at Forest. And let's not forget they bought this guy, Jota, not Jota from Liverpool, because they wouldn't ever afford him, but this other guy called Jota. Now he's a very good player. He's got pace, he's got skill, he's got his passing's good. He's got a shot on him as well, an eye for goal. This is his first season in the Premier League, so you've got to give these players comes from abroad, comes into the Premier League. You have really got to give him a season.
of course he has.
So, and
Yeah, I agree.
Forest to do that sort of thing, and it'll all. So I think if Eddie Nketiah, if Forest gets him, what I'm trying to say is I think they'd be pretty much of a decent team, Forest. So instead of avoiding the relegation, I think they'd be, when I say up there, I'm counting on something like most probably Forest and most probably finish 14th maybe in the league. Somewhere around about there.
Yeah,
It's,
it's
you
decent.
know,
It's decent.
is decent enough for Nottingham Forest. They're
Yeah,
not looking back over their shoulder as in such, thinking, "Oh bloody hell, we need to get points here, we get points there. Oh, we got Man City there. Oh, can we win that game? Because if we don't, we're back in the bottom three in relegation." So if they can do that, I think that they'll be good. But I got a funny feeling if Eddie Nketiah does go to Forest, he might start scoring goals. I don't know. Something's just telling you. You get that
yeah.
hunch or that feeling at the back of your head, and you're thinking, I, listen, I think if Eddie Nketiah goes, I think he will score goals. I'm not saying prolific goals, like 20 goals a season. I would say most probably anything um, from, well, I'll say anything up to something like maybe, between 12 to 14 goals a season, maybe, for Forest.
Just what they've got
So,
now, like with Chris Wood, I
yeah,
suppose. You
yeah.
know,
So, obviously, if one's injured, one steps in. So obviously, I think Eddie Nketiah will get over Chris Woods. I think he'll be playing that 13 football, hence because of the price tag, you know. And then once if Eddie's injured, Chris Wood steps in and he can step up
Also,
to the plate
also
there. So
Chris Wood is on penalties at Forest. So Eddie
mm,
Nketiah goes straight on penalties. So he could get more goals that way. You know,
yeah,
he'll get more game time. It might be good.
yeah,
Lee, we will talk later about getting you on Spotlight. Lovely, Tone. Okay, mate. Yeah, I did email you about that because I remember you asking me. I couldn't remember what day you said, but yeah, that's cool. We'll talk later. Right, so that's all. That's all the outgoings for Arsenal that we've heard. We've touched on Reece Nelson, but there's all question marks over that one. But there's a player that's become available. Apparently, he's going to be leaving Barcelona. Barcelona have said they can leave ex-Man City player Ilkay Gundogan, and I'm telling you now, I don't know what could that be. Arsenal's secret German. Remember, they was talking about a secret German player back at the
yeah,
start of the window. If this is the secret German player, it ain't come to light yet who this could have been. There's been loads of speculation over it. Sane, a few others. But I like
mm,
Gundogan. We tried to sign him when he went to Barcelona, didn't we? And
yeah, yeah,
he
we do.
chose Barcelona instead. Apparently, City have maybe opened the doors and saying you might be able to come back to Man City. Players going back to clubs doesn't always work. Look at the Ronaldo thing. That didn't really work for United, did it? And there's a couple of other ones I can't remember this there off the top of my head, but I remember a couple of other players returning to clubs. Wayne Rooney going back to Everton. You know,
Yeah,
there's a few that don't really work out that well, but this one could because he's a class player, and it come up on these stats on Sky Sports earlier, and he won 12 major honours while he was at Man City. He captained them in their treble winning season when they won the
yeah,
treble for the last title. He's 91% pass accuracy in 188 games that he played. 91% pass accuracy with 44 goals and 16 assists.
yeah,
That's some player.
yeah,
From midfield, we're talking. He's not a striker, by the way, people out there. He's a midfielder. That is the 91% pass accuracy in 188 games. That on its own, even if you ain't scored or assisted many goals, that on its own, the passing accuracy is fucking unbelievable. It is
yeah,
brilliant. So in nearly 200 games, he loses the ball like what 12% of the time, 9% of the time.
yeah. No, he does. I mean, in all fairness, this guy. I mean, I was surprised we didn't stack him up. Don't get me wrong. We all know that age is not on his side. He's like, what's he
Yeah,
now? 33, going into 34. But listen, I
he
think
can do
with
a
his
job
age,
for us.
I think he could do a job for us. And I'll tell you something now. He doesn't play like he's a 34-year-old on a pitch. He
Mm.
plays like he's a 28, 29-year-old. I mean, he gets stuck in, you know, I mean, his tackles are well timed. He's a good passer of the ball. He can read the ball well. I mean, in all fairness, this guy can actually, if he comes in and let's say he plays first team football in that midfield, who's he going to replace? The only person I can think of is Thomas Partey
Thomas
because
Partey. Yeah.
you know there's speculations about Inley. He could
But
be leaving.
what you sell Fabio Vieira
Yeah.
just to fund this deal because we don't need Fabio Vieira.
No,
He's
we don't need Fabio Vieira apparently, but this is a free though, isn't it? Because of his age. I mean, it's not. It's not. We're not spending like
okay.
10,
Well, we
12
can get him off the books then. Get Fabio Vieira off
million pounds. But yeah, we can
wage.
get him off the books. But I mean, we could get rid of Fabio Vieira. I mean, sell him. Just bring it. Just literally sell him. If we can get Gundogan in for free, you know, and he could do a job there. I mean, you look at that midfield. If he's playing three in midfield, I mean, obviously you've got Rice, you've got Odegaard there, you've got Partey, right? Jorginho. So that's what that's
For
that's five play that's
Mourinho's coming
within
in as
five.
well. But
Exactly. You've got Fabio, you know, Vieira. All right, we're not his greatest fan, I know that, but there is rumours that Mikel Arteta he thinks that Fabio Vieira's got something to offer this season. I have read that. But listen, that could be just rubbish talk, or it could be Mikel Arteta talking out the back of his ass, which 99.9% of the time he does. But you know, but that's it. But I mean, what a player! I mean, he could be, if we do get him. Would you take the captaincy off of Odegaard and put it on Gundogan? I think I would, because I don't think Odegaard's captain material. I really don't at our club. Good player, but I don't think he's captain material.
The
Odegaard.
only,
So
the only player, sorry, Anthony, the only player that I would give the armband to, if I was
Rice
going to take it off, it would be Rice. Yeah, he
would
would
probably
be.
be right. Yeah, yeah. But I mean, I mean, look, you look at that. I mean, that's something. I mean, Declan Rice is young. I mean, Declan Rice can actually learn a couple of things from him. You know what I'm
Of
saying?
course he could.
So is
He'd learn
it
from both
helps?
Partey and Gundogan. Can you imagine that midfield though? That just in case one of them gets a knock, bang. All right, we can replace. This is why City was so good.
Yeah,
This is why City was so good, because they can get an injury and they put in a player. Look at when Bernardo Silva used to get injured.
yeah,
Suarez come on for him. It, whoever was on the left, Grealish.
yeah.
Someone else has come up. They had a player to the same level. Oh, he's gone off. They had a player to the same level for every position.
It
People
what my
used to
wife
say,
done.
including myself, saying that they could field two teams. They could have Man City and Man City B
Yeah,
both playing in the Premier League with the players
yeah.
like that.
And both win things. No matter
Yeah,
what team you will pick, they will win things, whether it's Carabao Cup, FA Cup, Premier League, and maybe, all right, not so much the Champions League back then, but it was sort of, the Champions League was sort of drifting in front of them. They just couldn't quite get
yeah,
their hands on it. You know what I mean? But yeah, they've done that now, and it's great. So I feel that sometimes these teams, they sort of lack that experienced kind of players. What they can offer to the team mainly is depth. That's what it is. It's depth,
yes,
and
yes,
also it's training your younger players in that role. So in
yeah,
that midfield role, he can actually train there the whole of the midfield and pretty much roughly some of our defenders as well, because he plays. He is in action. I call him personally. I think he's a defensive midfielder,
yeah.
but every now and then he does sneak up. So he can either be a defensive midfielder or he could be that box to box
The
sort
number
of,
eight that we're
but
talking about.
yeah.
Yeah,
So it can work, and it can happen. But if we get him, what happens to the first person that we brought up on this show, this stream, that Marino? Would we get him if we get a certain Gundogan in? Do you know what I'm saying?
mm.
So he's going to Gundogan's going to cost more in wages. That's a fact. I mean, even though it's a free, it will cost more in wages. So that's the things we've got to
Yeah,
look
but we
at.
can balance that out that way, can't we? We could,
We
instead
could,
of
yeah,
the transfer fee, he gets the wages. I get that, but also what players like Ethan Nwaneri. Look at like 17 years old. Look what he learned from players like that.
yeah,
What can he? And he's going to be in the mix this season as well. He's going to get game time. I think he done really well in pre-season. I think he played fantastic in some of them games. We've
definitely,
got that Miles Lewis Skelly, the other
yeah,
left back. He had some good games. We've got
yeah.
some young players coming through. I think they're being promoted, and them
I
two
think with the
players.
likes of these players, I would like to see them out on loan. Just not reserves. I thought that they've done it now in the reserves. They've been in the reserves for quite a while now. The standard is just there. Do you know what I mean? Is there? I know they're getting 13 belt, but if they can actually go out on loan, maybe to somewhere like in the Championship, or a team from the Championship which just come up to the Premier League, and just get that little bit more experience, saying, look, you're playing with the big boys now. I know you're young, but trust me, if you do this, you can learn quite a hell of a lot, and
You
it
have to put,
improves their play and their
yeah,
skill and their
yeah,
ability. And this is what I want to see. We ballsed up on our reserves players, Lee. You
mm,
know, that Obi Martins, we sold it. We didn't sell him, I mean, we offered him 30,000 in wages. Man United offered him 50. Well, obviously, he turned down our one and gone to Man United. He's the striker, yeah. He's the striker that scored 38 goals in 45 games
Yeah, he scored
in the
10 goals
reserve.
against Liverpool, didn't he?
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
in one game. He scored 10
So
goals against Liverpool.
Man United, they've got one there for the future. They got one there for the future.
Yeah,
And that City roughly, it reminds me of like, is it Andy Cole? Because Andy Cole, he started off in the Arsenal reserves, didn't he?
yeah,
And then, George Graham didn't want him. We then, all right, my old team, Bristol City, picked him up. We sold him to Newcastle for 1.75, and he went to Man United. The rest is history.
yeah.
So, do you know what I mean? So there is a lot of talent out there, but it depends what sort of manager you've got that can spot the talent.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I've said it on shows. Mikel Arteta, he can't spot talent, and he just can't. Honestly, he's no good in spotting talent. He tries to buy that talent in, and that's unfortunately that's what we've got as a manager.
Where Arsene Wenger was a master at it.
There you go.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I think that's everything I've got written down. You got anything else written down?
Yeah, you're talking about obviously we need a striker, don't we, Lee?
Oh, yeah,
So
yeah,
we're thinking about what strikers are out there, what strikers we like sort of Arsenal are interested in. I mean, if we get rid of Eddie Nketiah, I mean, can you see Kai Havertz being our number one? Because it
yeah.
just leaks out now that Jesus is willing to stay at Arsenal and fight for his place. And Mikel Arteta is happy for him to do that, right?
Mm.
So I read that today on the Arsenal website. So apparently that's happening. The other things is the strikers we're talking about. There is we've been linked to loads of strikers, and quite a few of them is come to a dead end basically. So there is still talks regarding two strikers. One of them obviously being Ivan Toney. Obviously it was 80 million down to 50. Now the rumor has it his value now has gone down to 25 million. So that could be a steal. Brentford, why not swap him for they want for Eddie Nketiah. Do you know what I'm saying?
I
Because
did a little video on that yesterday.
yeah,
This Abdul Aziz has said Reece Nelson to Leicester City. Yeah, we did touch on that earlier on in the show. We have heard
yeah.
that, but that's gone a little bit cold. That's gone a little bit cold in recent days. Victor Gyökeres is a player that Arsenal have been heavily linked with. Victor Osimhen, I think that's just the agents talking. I think he's going to wind up.
That's not happening.
I
That's
think
not
he's
happening.
going
If
to
we're
wind up.
struggling for money, we ain't going to pay 100 million for him,
No.
Lee. We're just not. Put that to bed now.
Yeah.
That's not happening. You brought up another one, didn't you? There, Grosjeman for the Victor Grosjeman, is it from Sporting?
Victor Gyökeres.
Victor Eucharist from Sporting. Sorry, I
Yeah.
knew I'd butcher his name somewhere. Reports are saying that is could still be on the cards. They're talking around about the 80 to 85 million pound mark for him.
Yeah.
Personally,
I've heard Sporting Lisbon. I did mention it in the show in my video upload I done yesterday. But Sporting, they might be open to moving down to around 50, 60 million.
well,
Between 50
if
and
that's the
60 million.
case, I think that's more realistic because listen, I've got stats here from him, and I'm looking it up here now, and I'm going to tell you his stats. Right. So obviously, we all know that he started off at Brighton, didn't we? When we've really got to know him, he started off at Brighton. So obviously at Brighton, this was going back in August 2018 to July 2019. Played 5 games for Brighton. He scored no goals. Okay. Then he went on loan to St. Pauli, a team abroad from 2019, July 2019 to June 2020. He played 28 games. He scored 7 goals. Then he went back to Brighton off his loan, played 3 games and scored 1 goal. Right. Then this is where it gets interesting because then from the Premier League, he then went to the Championship, and I said the 2 teams who he played for in the Championship, and I got them right. So first of all, he went to Swansea City, which I was right. So for Swansea City in the Championship on loan from October 2020 till January 2021, he played 12 games for Swansea and scored 1 goal. Then from there, obviously, he went to loan back to Brighton. Then Brighton loaned him out to Coventry City. This is the recent one of 2021, January so 6 after season in the January transfer window. He went to the end of there. He played 19 games and scored 3 goals. Right, and then went back to Brighton. So he's backwards and forwards quite a lot, this guy. Then he went to Coventry, right? And I think he went to Coventry from a reported, I think it was around about, I think it's about 2 million, yeah, it's saying 2 million here, July 2021 to July 2023. So he was there for 2 seasons. He played 97 games for Coventry and scored 40 goals. So that works out then. That was the best of his career. He scored 20 goals in both seasons.
Yeah.
Obviously in there for the 21, 22 and 23 season. And then went to Sporting. Now for Sporting, he played now last season, he played 53 games for Sporting and he scored an amazing 46 goals in 53 games. So I've got it here. I've got it here. It's all here.
Yeah.
Right. But it's like what I said. I mean, that alone, I think from the last season of, Sporting and obviously with Coventry, kind of, Coventry is like 50-50 for me, but obviously what the record for Sporting is amazing, that record. But apart from that, his record,
Yeah, it was very poor before that.
it was very poor. It's not. It's not
20
that
goals a
great.
season at Coventry in the Championship ain't bad.
Yeah,
Average 20 goals a season.
yeah.
Say.
So that was 2 seasons.
That's amazing in Greece, but
Yeah.
different league. It's a different league. You've got to take that into account, I suppose. It's a different league. I'm sorry. Let me quickly read this out from Tony. Thank you, Lord Anthony. At least we know Nketiah isn't heading to East London, so he's happy. He's definitely not going to be going to West Ham.
West Ham, no.
But I don't know, man. If for 50 million, if we can get him for 50 million, where would you rather, Gyökeres or Eddie Nketiah to start the season?
Well, I'd rather have Gyökeres. Don't get me wrong. I would. Anything's better than Eddie Nketiah. I mean, I would take a top goal scoring, whoever the top goal scorer was from the Championship last season to Arsenal.
Eddie Nketiah.
I'd rather pick that than Eddie Nketiah, definitely. So but I mean, I mean, anything's a bonus. I mean, this Ivan Toney, there's reports that there's maybe a team from Saudi coming over for him.
Yeah, I saw that up there. Yeah.
Yeah. And obviously that was the reason why he didn't feature in Brentford's 2-1 win against Crystal Palace, because the Brentford manager, he said, look, the reason why we're not playing him, it is speculation to do with the transfer. And we feel that it was best that he did not think he's not going to be playing in this game. And he said that just before the game kicked off. So, but I can understand. I mean, out of the two, don't get me wrong, I would prefer Ivan Toney. I would. But if we don't get Ivan Toney, it just leaves that one striker that we've been talking about. So I thought, because nobody's really put any stats about him in a show. Or I certainly haven't seen any stats, so I thought I'll read some stats out.
Yeah, no, yeah.
So but yeah, I mean,
everyone talks about the Sporting Lisbon. They don't talk about before that. Everything I've seen, they spoke about how good he's been last season at Sporting Lisbon.
Yeah,
I've
yeah,
seen loads of that. I mean, I think I've mentioned it in one of my shows before as well, or one of my video uploads.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
Uh,
but yeah, I mean that's it on that one. I mean, if there's any, I mean, there is most probably, obviously transfer rumors. I mean, Garcia. It looks like Arsenal's reached an agreement for that keeper. It's just actually pinged up on my tablet now. Looks like they're going to make an agreement with that one. Obviously, we talked about that regarding a certain Aaron Ramsdale.
yeah,
So it does look like that Aaron Ramsdale could be going to Wolves on loan then if he's coming in. So apparently personal terms have been agreed. Um, this is from Arsenal. This is from the Arsenal website. I'm just reading what's on the Arsenal website to everybody.
yeah,
Obviously, everybody's picking up on it now. Oh, there's another show stream going off. On the one, so obviously we've already covered that. Maybe somebody was watching this and felt like, oh, we'll do our own show,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know. So yeah, so there is that. There's a few going round, but mainly I think it is all to do with today. I think it's pretty much to do with Aaron Ramsdale of where he's going to. I think that's the biggest one. I think that's the biggest one at the minute. Obviously, regarding the transfer rumors.
yeah.
So
I'm just looking at this. I'm just looking at mine again. I've just had saying come in. Arsenal reject Forest 25 million in Nketiah offer,
yeah,
but that's
it's
just popped up on my phone.
yeah, it's just
Was
that.
that
It's
the
mainly
first offer he's talking about, or is this the latest offer?
this
Happy.
is that was the last offer that they offered. I think it was 20. I think they offered 25, wasn't it, in the last one? So I thought that what they might do is they might re-offer the 25 million for Eddie Nketiah plus add-ons. If
Yeah,
they got the add-ons, if they can get the add-ons bit right, I can see Eddie Nketiah most probably being a Nottingham Forest. They want as much money as they can, and I feel that it feels like to a certain extent the reason why we keep turning it down feels like Mikel Arteta. We get the vibe that does really Mikel Arteta really wanting to leave. I think that's what we're getting at, aren't we? He
yeah.
wants everyone to stay. So, I mean, that's how I feel about it anyway. But I just feel that he needs to get him off the books. But then again, it comes to that wage, doesn't it? He's on 100 grand with
Hundred
us.
thousand.
Yeah,
Hundred
he's going
thousand.
to have to come down in wages. He would have to. If he goes to Forest, he's going to have to at least. I think he's going to have to at least have a 40% pay cut. He's going to have to be at least on 60 grand a week at the most. A Forest won't pay any more than that.
Thank you, Tony. See you later. We'll see you later on tonight. Right, gents. Some of us still have to work. We'll see you later tonight. Good show, and you have covered a lot. Enjoy the rest of your day. You enjoy the rest of your days too, Tony. And we'll see you at 7:30 tonight on the Prem Talk podcast. We'll be back, me and Anthony, also with the one and only Early Doors Football TV superstar YouTuber. You can go and check out his channel, West Ham fan. He's got a blinding channel, does loads of streams, works hard at it, and hopefully soon he'll be flying high and earning money. What's that say?
Yeah.
Currently, I'm bloody work. Oh, huh? Oh, he can't enjoy the rest of his day. Oh, that's what you mean. Yeah, that is a pity. That is a pity. Well, try and enjoy it. So don't work too hard. Don't get tired for tonight, mate.
Don't work too hard. Don't work. I got the day off of work today. My boss, I woke up, I got dressed, I got ready for work, and then I had a text message from my boss saying, "Sorry, Ant, there's no work today. We're back in tomorrow." I think he had to take his daughter to she had a hospital appointment or something like that. So obviously, we
Yeah,
decided not to go in, sort of thing. So we're going in tomorrow instead, and the rest of the week. So that'd be nice day off today. But
yeah,
we were supposed to forecast rain today, but for some particular reason, it was cloudy this morning, but we didn't have the rain. So
yeah.
that was another option.
Bright
You can't,
sunshine coming through the window. I've been
yeah,
seeing it a
yeah.
little bit.
But you can't lay bricks and blocks in this bed, like in the rain sort of thing. So there was that
Probably
debate
rain
whether
tomorrow. You probably get rained off tomorrow.
we'll probably get rain tomorrow. Yeah, no, it might be. Like, you've jinxed it now, Lee. Yeah.
All right then. So let's wrap it up for now, Tone. Sorry, Anthony. Let's wrap it up for now, and we'll be back later on. Plenty more to
Yeah,
talk about later on. All the Premier League football, the Fantasy
definitely.
Premier League. That we've got 20 players in it now. I've noticed as well.
20 teams in it as well. There could possibly be another team coming in, so that'd be 21 teams. I like to do it in it. I don't like an odd number. I've always liked an even number
Yeah,
when I'm in the league. I don't know why. It's most probably just me. So, but yeah, I mean, there's some good players. I mean, when Tony's on tonight, we can get him to bring it up on the screen.
yeah,
Listen, I mean, he can even bring up mine. I think he could bring up my team, your team, and his team. But yeah, we'll just take it from there. We'll have a look at the points, sum up the players, how many
yeah,
points we got. Are we happy? Most probably have a laugh and take the piss out of each other's teams, sort
yeah,
of thing.
yeah.
Yeah, I know where it's going to be. I know who we're all looking up to. But yeah, but that won't last long. That won't last long. Believe you and me.
All right. Nice one. And we'll see you all later.
Yeah, have a nice one.